Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Mick Alphanim. So we're going to begin here with this little tweet from AMFIF's Digital Monetary Institute. This shows how much Ripple is respected and how deep they are into the development of CBDCs, of assisting the development of CBDCs. And keep in mind, they're going to be connecting many CBDCs in a way that the legacy system cannot do. And that's why they continue to call on who? They continue to call on Ripple. They continue to call on Stellar. Remember, I had a video about a month ago where the White House contacted Stellar, right? These continue to be two of the biggest and most respected crypto companies when it comes to CBDCs and digital asset development. That's for a reason. But this little tweet goes as such. It's from the Digital Monetary Institute, AMFIF DMI. It says to foster innovation and drive development of CBDC applications. At Ripple sponsored CBDC Innovate Challenge last year will be returning in spring 2023. Now, Ripple could have put this out there themselves. Why did AMFIF put this out there? They want to show the alliance with Ripple, but to who? Because you and I are not the typical audience that's going to see this. They want other big, powerful companies, central banks, commercial banks to see this. They want to show, hey, they're one of us. Little by little, we're starting to see that come out, aren't we? That the legacy system is showing the embrace of Ripple. They really don't have a choice anymore. Because if you're looking at the development of the digital assets that they're putting together, they all lack what? They lack interoperability. And then you even have them coming out with these admissions of, hey, Ripple has the edge on us. They're a little bit more advanced. I also want to keep this put out there. I think Ripple is sitting on innovations. I do. They're sitting on a few things. Now, this is just my humble opinion. You could disagree, and I'm perfectly fine with that. All right. I think they're sitting on innovations. They're waiting. They're sitting on announcements for sure. For sure. They already said that. They have NDAs and memorandums of understanding signed and things like that. They're waiting for that case to be over, right? I think in a way that most are not comprehending. I think there's a great possibility XRP takes off like a rocket. Ripple, I think Ripple's going to come out with a lot of announcements on innovations. Hey, we can do this now. Hey, we can do that. Hey, we can scale this high. We have literal instant finality, not like now how they say instant finality. I think that they can do moving capital as fast as account-to-account systems. Honestly, you want to be serious about it. You know how Celo does these account things. Then keep in mind FedNow, like Cash App, and FedNow is pretty much just a clone of Cash App. Account-to-account is what they do. It's not like what we do. But I think we can we can move at that same speed just with the distributed ledger technologies that we're working with. That's insanity. That's unbelievable. I think we can do that. I think they'll unveil things like that. Then you saw that article where they said they moved $2 billion? This was about 2 weeks ago. All right. So people saw it. $2 billion in 4 seconds. They're starting to flex their muscle. The legacy system, as you see, AMFIF, is starting to little by little say, hey, they're one of us, show that they're one of us. At the same time, I want to point something else out. Let me put that to the side for a moment, if you will bear with me. I want to get all these thoughts out. I'm trying to give you everything. You ever notice when Ripple gets quiet for a moment, it's like you have all of these lions in Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, you have Monica Long, et cetera, et cetera. And they love to come out and say, hey, we're doing this. Hey, we have this new deal. We've expanded on-demand liquidity. But do you ever notice when they go quiet, like now, it's been a little quiet. That's typically followed by that silence. They have a flood of announcements. I want to see if that pattern continues over the next month or two. I mean, heck, if we get a positive outcome to that case, I expect the horses to be off to the races. But, you know, that's just my opinion. But they're quiet now. Why? These lions love to brag and boast and shine. I think they're working on a lot of deals and projects right now. Right now, they don't have the time to come out and say, we're doing this, we're doing that. Right now, they're about closing deals. They're about improving products. They're about connecting CBDCs. I think they're working on the hard stuff right now because they see the light at the end of the tunnel. But that's just my humble opinion. Some of my thoughts. But notice how quiet they are. When's the last time we had a massive announcement? They don't stop working. They don't stop working. All right, so now let's move on here, okay? We have a lot of articles to get through, a lot of powerful news coming out of here. So then we have a little bit of Stellar related news, all right? This is from Laura Thorbjornsen. Says, busy start in DC with @Denell Dixon and @A Mine Heart. Of course, they're in DC right now. They were on the news earlier in the day, I believe. Bloomberg TV, Stellar's making waves. They're demanding, hey, we want crypto to stop talking about technology. We want crypto to start showing its utility. These are powerful, powerful words. But why can Stellar speak that way? Stellar can speak that way because they're backed by all these powerful entities. Heck, they're getting phone calls from the White House. They're doing deals with the United Nations. When there's regulatory clarity, I think Stellar's going to, I say this a lot, but it's because it's on my mind. They're going to dominate in the United States. They're getting the red carpet rolled out for them right now. Well, let's continue on here. So then you have this next tweet here says, live in 5 minutes, @Denell Dixon sits down with Bloomberg Live. This is great advertisement. A lot of respected people still watch Bloomberg, still read Bloomberg, the magazines they have, if they still have them, I don't know. But people respect Bloomberg, and they will take notice of Stellar. And Stellar speaking very powerfully. They'll check out Stellar and they'll say, what is this blockchain? How can I build on it? Why is the White House contacting them? Why is the United, because when you search up Stellar, these things are going to pop up. Why is the United Nations working with them? Who are they? If they don't already know, and they probably have heard of them. But right now, the companies are trying to get in deep with blockchain behind the scenes. You can read articles about it. I know in the mainstream media, it makes it seem like everyone's against crypto, but that's not true. They're turning the regular people away from crypto while all the businesses are getting in deep on building on crypto, or not crypto, but distributed ledger based infrastructures. So this is the way it always happens. The governments and the big companies get in on it deep quietly while they bash and turn the regular people away from that asset, bringing down the price of everything, right? Then not only do they build on those infrastructures, but they buy up a ton of those assets. Heck, they can even do it through proxy. And then later on, when that bull run starts and those prices go up, they're the main ones that benefit, right? And then the regular people are left to sulk and feel sad that they didn't capitalize on those opportunities. Always the way that it is. But this is very, very good here. So then also we have this. Well, this is the quote that I was referencing before from Stellar. This was tweeted from Stellar. It says, quote, stop talking about the technology. I don't think that will be wise. I disagree on that, but let's continue on here. It says, stop talking about the technology and start demonstrating the utility. I agree with that in a way. But in order to fully realize the utility of such, you have to have regulatory clarity. So in that way, I kind of agree in one way and disagree in another. But nonetheless, this shows Denell Dixon has taken a powerful position at the forefront of crypto. And we do need a company like Stellar standing up. Not only is it going to bring in more possible business opportunities, companies building on Stellar, developers building on Stellar. This is great, right? It shows that Stellar is respected, but at the same time, I think it lets the world know, hey, we need a utility run. It's time for a utility run. It's time for crypto to rely on its utility. And if that happens, heck, a lot of us are going to be very happy to have a utility run. That's going to be something explosive, in my humble opinion. Now, let's move on here. I think we're making some good time here. You know what's crazy? I saw a video, random thought, right? I saw a video and it was one of these guys on the street and he's asking people questions. And the question today was, he had a picture of someone. He said, do you know who this is? No one knew who was on the picture. Do you know who was on the picture? It was Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood. Nobody knew who Clint Eastwood was. What is going on with this new generation? Maybe, I'm obviously getting older. Listen, I love Clint Eastwood movies, grew up on Clint Eastwood movies, Fistful of Dollars. If you don't know Clint Eastwood movies, if you like cowboy movies, old school cowboy movies, right to the point, pure action, but good storyline also, good acting and good storyline. Fistful of Dollars, that's number one. A Few More Dollars, that's number two. Unforgiven, that's underrated. Unforgiven, number three. Let me know, what's your top three Clint Eastwood movies if you ever watched Clint Eastwood? I like all the action stars that I grew up with in the late 80s, early 90s. Clint Eastwood's one of my favorites. Wesley Snipes, Bruce Willis. Who else? So Stallone, of course, Schwarzenegger. I mean, it goes on and on. Dolph Lundgren, Jean-Claude Van Damme, even Steven Seagal. You know what's crazy? I did enjoy Steven Seagal movies. My father had a lot of them. But at the same time, I don't know. Something always rubbed me. It just didn't sit right with me sometimes. The energy of Steven Seagal. He just seemed like a bully. A bully. It did. Go watch Under Siege and all those movies, and it was like, is this guy ever going to lose? Even when he was injured, it seemed like he wasn't going to lose. He could go to a bar with 50 guys. It's just him. 50 guys. He has those squinty eyes and start doing Aikido. He would beat up the whole bar. They could have guns, knives, weapons. He would beat up the entire bar. I don't know, man. I like a little bit of realism, like Bruce Lee. For example, I'm going to get back to the crypto stuff. Hold on. Bear with me. But Bruce Lee, you know what I love about Bruce Lee is he had realism. Sure, he's going to beat up a couple guys. He's going to take some punches. He's going to get thrown on the ground like you saw in Return of the Dragon versus Chuck Norris. He'd get thrown on the ground. He's going to get sliced across the chest by Han in Enter the Dragon. Bruce is going to take a beating. It's not unrealistic. It's realistic. It's a humble approach. There's no ego involved because when you get into a fight, you're going to get hit. Steven Seagal wasn't like that. Not all the time. Not from what I remember. Of course, this is a long time ago. I just remember him throwing guys around like he was immortal. Now, let's get back to the news here. So, this is from yahoo.com. And this was a little bit more stellar news. My apologies, a little bit more. I didn't know about this. I don't remember catching this. So I want to bring this to light here so we can keep up with this company. It's titled HWG Cash Enhanced Features Lightnet. HWG Cash Enhanced Features from Lightnet provides more coverage, security, competitive rate, local currency settlement, and speed. So, all of our connected companies that are building on Stellar, EveryNet, Velo, all those connections, they merge together. EveryNet, Velo, Lightnet, and now you have HWG Cash. Add that to the list so we can keep up with this company here. And let's just read this little tidbit. This came out December 4th, 2022, but I would never proclaim to be able to catch every little piece of news. But this is good that I'm seeing this now. I don't remember seeing this company. It says here, HWG Cash is proud to partner with Lightnet in providing wider digital banking services, money broking, and near real-time remittance and settlement solutions. HWG Cash's retail and commercial clientele will be able to access full interoperability. Of course, Stellar brings that interoperability, which is going to be important in the future. It says here, full interoperability, payment and settlement solutions under one roof within Lightnet's remittance ecosystem, providing more coverage, security, competitive rates, local currency settlement, and speed. All right, I'm going to leave off there. No, wait. There's a little bit more here. This is interesting. HWG Cash will be adding more settlement channels to their clienteles and partnerships in Central Asia, Southeast Asia, China. I told you Stellar was in China. I told you. China, and let me see. Hong Kong. It's getting deep with crypto. And if people don't understand that, Hong Kong has its own thing going on, right? Where they have their own way of thinking, their own, it's hard to describe, but there's a difference between Hong Kong and how mainland China operates. You understand? It's all China, but it's like they have their own way of doing things. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know if I conveyed that clearly. Middle East, Africa, Indonesia, India, and Australia soon. This is a company I wanna keep keep up to date on this company and see what they're doing. This could get interesting quickly. So HWG Cash is another one of our stellar companies now. All right. So now let's move on here. I'm feeling good today. I hope you all are doing well out there. All right. I hope you're having a good week. All right. So now a little bit of Algorand news here. My apologies for clapping my hand. I don't know why. Sometimes I do that. It's like it gets my energy going. My apologies. It says, this is from Algorand developers. It says, build your first dApp on Algorand in just 4 days. Look how easy they're making it. This is what I want to see from Algorand. I want as many developers on Algorand as possible. I want as many companies building on Algorand as possible. They've been doing a tremendously good job, tremendously good. I'm thoroughly satisfied. Keep making that push because they're building for a bigger future for Algorand. That's more possible value, more possible volume. This is what makes Algorand one of the absolute best. They continue to push on all levels. They're taking phone calls in their private offices, but they're also making a push publicly to advertise and to bring in new eyes, new minds. They're in the universities, the colleges. They're putting things out like this so that any developer anywhere can see it and say, hey, 4 days, it must be easy. Let me go learn. They're making it easy to learn how to build on Algorand. I respect what they're doing, and they have a very bright future. So now it says how easy. It says easy. Join our developer boot camp series. They're constantly doing things like this. Boot camps, accelerators. This is how you know a company is serious about having a bright, not just a bright future, a brighter future, because Algorand is already doing fantastic. In the next bull run, I expect them to fly, but that's just my humble opinion. It's not financial advice. All right. So now let's move on here. So then we have a little bit of Celo news here. I like to see things happening with Celo. They've been extremely active this year. This is from tweeted out from Celo.org, and it says, consensus is around the corner. That I don't care about. This is the part I do. It says, and leading innovators at Google Cloud, at CloudWorks Tech, are joining Celo. Remember, they have a partnership with Google now. Oh, Celo. Oh, you exploded a bunch of times in that last bull run. I'm expecting fireworks. I'm expecting absolute fireworks. I only speak for myself. I expect absolute fireworks from you, Celo. This was great. So you have a relationship with Telecom, Deutsche Telekom, which obviously has a relationship with T-Mobile. You have a relationship with the World Economic Forum. You're pushing for universal basic income. We'll see how that goes. We're keeping up to date on all the different catalysts. And now you bring in Google. Oh, yes. I like this. I like this. All right. So now let's move on here. So Celo's looking good, in my humble opinion. Then they have this here also from LCX. All right. So I thought I had a little bit more Celo news. Maybe I pushed that chapter back a little bit. I have them mixed up a little bit. This is from LCX's major milestone at LCX, launching LCX Earn today. First company worldwide offering fixed yield on Bitcoin, ETH, Euro, and LCX based on a security prospectus available in 30 European countries. LCX has been doing a good job. I expect a little bit more out of them in the future, being that they're fully regulated. Take advantage. Go insane. Go bananas. They're doing good, but I think they could do more. Even with regulation, I think they still have to tread lightly because a lot of companies, because there's not full regulatory clarity, across the world just yet, Europe as well. Europe, in addition to that, my apologies. I think they still have to sort of tread lightly, even though they are fully regulated. But because of that, I want to see them do a much more than what they're doing now. Make some big partnerships. I'm sure they're working on it. And we will keep an eye on them. They've been doing a great job. Like as you see here, they can offer certain things. They don't have to worry about trouble. If people are using their exchange, they don't have to worry about trouble of any kind. Because they are fully regulated and compliant, right? I also would like to update on them becoming a bank. Come on, let's hear that update. What's going on with that? You had 2 out of 3 of the criteria fulfilled. It was something like that. We were waiting on 1. What's going on with that? I would love to know. I'll be doing another search coming up soon to try to gain a little bit more clarity on that. I did one maybe about 2 weeks ago or so. I didn't find anything, but we'll be patient. We'll be patient. I think a lot of I said this about a year and a half ago. I think a lot of these bank coin companies could they could become banks, or they could have a bank offering. Like there's certain, you know how they have like for-profit segments of the company. You can have a bank also. But we will see. We will see. But LCX is actually attempting it. That's the point. So, you know, we'll see how that goes. So now, I clap my hands again. Oh, I got to stop that. This is from Cointelegraph.com, and it's titled, U.S. share of global crypto developers fell 26% in 5 years. Of course, so many U.S. is choking off the innovation within their sector. A lot of developers, a lot of businesses are leaving the U.S. right now, and they're going elsewhere. Almost anywhere is better than the U.S. right now. U.S. is in a very bad position, and I'm trying not to go too far with what I'm saying, but they're very arrogant. And I think they feel that they can do what they're doing right now without consequence. And it just is not that way. The United States is not what it used to be. It's just not. But because of arrogance, pride comes before the fall. And because of arrogance, they don't see that they're destroying their country right now. In my humble opinion. It says in 2018, nearly 40% of all crypto developers were based in the United States, whereas in 2022, the figure had fallen to less than 30%. The share of global crypto developers based in the United States declined 26% from 2018 to 2022, according to a report from venture capital firm Andreessen Horowitz, also known as 16Z. The report titled, quote, State of Crypto 2023, cited data from Electric Capital, and Similar Web to support its findings. So scroll down here, go past the tweet. A summary of the report's findings stated that, quote, between 2018 and 2022, the proportion of crypto developers based in the US versus the rest of the world fell 26%. Backing up this finding is a graph in the report showing US share of global crypto developers was nearly 40% in 2018, but went below 30% in 2022, a percentage decline of more than one quarter. Okay, I'm going to leave that right there. You want to read the rest of that, hear the rest of that? They have a lot more here. It's on Cointelegraph.com, but I'll say this. It's not just crypto. That's the scary part. You have the advent of the digital nomad. I said this before. So many people, they are living, just traveling. They own properties in Southeast Asia. They own a property in Mexico. They own a property in Dubai, and they just travel. They can work from anywhere. And they're not afraid to do so because of when the redacted happened, they got used to it. They got used to it, moving around and such like that, to more favorable places and areas, right? Especially as inflation began to hit also, and people look for places that were more affordable and, you know, kinder to their capital. Then you have the taxing is another thing. People have definitely been looking for places that are easier when it comes to taxing. There's in so many different ways, the US is just not desirable for many people. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of good that can be extracted from the US. So I want to keep it balanced. I don't want to sound too negative on the US, but I have to cite the reasons why these things are happening. They're leaving. There's a decline in the US, and these things are leaving the US, but they're on a rise everywhere else, right? Small businesses, another thing. There's been so many small businesses, and this is not talked about enough. I'm talking about what I'm seeing on the ground, okay? There's a lot of small businesses. They've been closing and they're going elsewhere, right? They're going to other countries and they're thriving, okay? We'll see how this goes, but I just feel that the regulators, the leaders, so-called, in the United States, I don't think they know what they're doing. They don't. They're bringing. So anyway, let's move on here. I don't want to go too far into that. Okay, so now I hope you all are doing well. My interest is I hope that I'm providing you some good information here and you're having a good time on the channel here and being well informed. And I hope you are doing well, that you're being successful in life. And, you know, maybe you're even getting some love in life, something like that. That's what I care about. And all I can do is hope the best for you. That's all. All right. So now this is from beincrypto.com and it's titled Crypto Flourishing. Are China's rulers having second thoughts about crypto? I won't say that. I will say this before we read the article. I believe that many in China I could be wrong on this, but I think they're wise. I think that they held crypto back just long enough for them to catch up. Now, I believe they feel like they've caught up. And so crypto's not a threat anymore. Go ahead, have some fun. That's what I think. That's the approach I think they're taking, right? So now, it says here, Hong Kong has emerged as a Web3 and cryptocurrency hub. I was talking about this earlier in the video also. Nei ho, by the way. Hong Kong has their own way of doing things, right? They have their own way of thinking. And they're very innovative. They're very bold, right? So there's key differences in operations and thinking between Hong Kong and like mainland China, right? But someone else could elaborate on that a little bit better. Maybe I'm wrong. This is just what I've gleaned, all right? It says, with local government taking action to adopt clear regulations. Despite a general ban on crypto in China, some Chinese government-related firms show growing interest in crypto. It was, like I said, I think they only held crypto back until they caught up. Now they caught up because they're saying like, we're about to come out with our own commodity-backed CBDC. Crypto's not a threat to us anymore. Go ahead and have some fun with it. I think that's the mentality. I could be wrong. It says, China, officially the People's Republic of China, has a strange relationship with cryptocurrencies. Not if you see it from my viewpoint. The People's Bank of China, and don't see it through a Western lens where in the United States, a lot of the regulators, they hold something back so that the United States not only can catch up, but so they can control it. I don't think that's so much what's going on over there. I think that China sees a lot of the regulators in China, controllers in China see that like the crypto companies never wanted to dominate outright. They literally came to all of the regulators globally and said, hey, we want to work with you. That's not someone who wants to dominate you. So they were never a threat anyway. Like I said, I think they held them back till they could catch up. And now they're just like, okay, yeah, go ahead and have some fun. Go ahead and use crypto. Why not? From outlawing to backing crypto entities. Exactly. Global markets have changed substantially since the ban. Once a dominating global force, the US dollar witnessed cracks within its wall. Local organizations have now prompted crypto and underlying innovation to widen the gap to USD and at the same time to close the gap to reach a decentralized space. There could be several reasons why Chinese state-owned entities are now backing crypto ventures. Also, they're going to need that interoperability for the BRICS nations. That's another thing. So unlike the West, they're taking advantage of this situation and saying, hey, come in and work with us, knowing that it's going to be a great benefit to them. None of these countries, none of their central banks have the interoperability that they need and access the corridors that they need from like China to Argentina to Brazil to wherever to Mexico. Like, no, but the crypto companies do. They were wise enough to build the corridors. This is why the bank coins are going to be key in the future, in my humble opinion. This is why they can explode. They have what no other entity has. This is one explanation is that China sees the potential of blockchain technology and wants to support its development. China has been exploring the use of blockchain in various industries, including finance, logistics, and healthcare, and even made its own digital currency, the digital yuan. Exactly, they caught up, so they're now they can unleash crypto. So I'm going to leave that there. We have a few more articles to get through, okay? That's on beincrypto.com, right on the front page if you want to read that, a little bit more of that, all right? So now, I'm going to skip that article there. I want to get to this article here on news.bitcoin.com. And it's titled, Economist Harry Dent, we've been hearing a lot of things like this, expects biggest crash in our lifetime to hit between now and mid-June. Ooh, that's a heck of a timeline. That's pretty quick. Between now and mid-June. Because of deceleration, I could see that there's the possibility of a massive crash, especially if they continue to raise interest rates, which I think they're going to have to, especially since they just injected over $400 billion into the economy. I think they're going to have to raise interest rates higher for longer. We'll stay privy of that and adjust accordingly. However, if they do that, yeah, I could see deceleration increasing. We're already in deceleration. And then there could be a massive crash. But from now to June, let's hear his reasoning, though. I want to hear the reasoning behind this. It says Harry Dent's biggest crash warning. The founder of HS Dent Investment Management and author of several best-selling books, Harry Dent warned in an interview with David Lynn, published Friday, that the biggest crash in our lifetime will likely happen by mid-June. Quote, "We won't see this again. We will not see a bubble economy. Our kids will probably not even see a bubble economy decades and decades from now. It happens once in a lifetime at most." That depends. That depends on a lot. It says, he explained that the biggest crash that he is predicting is what the 2008-2009 crash should have been, noting that the S&P 500 was down 57% at the time. Quote, "About a year and a half into the crash, central banks just stepped in and started printing money at unprecedented rates." That's why I said it depends. You know what I'm saying? They can print money again. It would be bad, but I don't put anything past, these entities. It says, so that recession didn't really do its job of flushing out the greatest debt bubble in history. Dent described. I see where he's going. It says, quote, "I am predicting as much as 86% decline for the S&P 500 in this crash and 92% on the NASDAQ. Bitcoin will go down more like 95 to 96%. Whoa. Dent expects the crypto market to crash alongside stocks. With Bitcoin, it's possible. Yes, it's possible. I'm hoping that doesn't happen, but it is possible because of deceleration. Yes, I will say it's possible, not a guarantee. Let's continue on. I'm trying to hold my tongue a little bit. The Bitcoin falling 95%, 96% from its November 2021 high. Quote, "Bitcoin will fall from $69,000 to about $3,000 to $4,000, he said." When was this? Didn't expect the crypto market to crash alongside stocks. Okay, I see what he's saying. Bitcoin will fall from $69,000 to about $3,000 to $4,000, he said, adding that, quote, "It's exactly what Amazon and the .coms did." Okay, so I'm guessing he's expecting Bitcoin to have gone up. As such, I don't understand how to read that. I think they're missing a little bit of context there. It says the Economist has repeatedly warned about the biggest crash in a lifetime. He pointed out that after his previous warning, the NASDAQ went down 38% in October last year. That's just the first wave. There's two more to follow. We have already started the next wave, which could take the NASDAQ down to $8,000. I think what he was saying before, there's so many people predicting that Bitcoin is going to explode to some high number, and it definitely is up today. It definitely is up. I don't know about it going that high. Is it possible? Because if hyperinflation did set in, sure. But because of deceleration, I believe, because of those interest rates, I just don't know about that. But we will see. We will see. It says NASDAQ down to $8,000 just in the next wave. Not the end of it. That's going to be down a little over 50%, he detailed. Okay, so I mean, I'm going to keep this in mind because this individual has been right a few times. So you can't just write off what this individual is saying, right? I just keep it in the back of my mind. And I take precautionary measures at all times, all right? All right, so now let's move on here. So a little bit more Celo news here. This is tweeted out from Into the Verse, Games for Good. It says, in case you missed it, one of its kind on @Celo.org says it says a few days left before the launch of the first phygital collection in Celo.org in partnership with Ubisoft and Into the Verse. Get ready to #slay. Oh, all right. Best view on your @Valora whitelist for the rest of this limited edition. So it looks like they have some kind of NFT shoes, obviously they're connected to a physical product, but this is good activity on Celo. I want to see as much activity on Celo as possible. They've been doing a pretty good job, but they've been becoming very active in 2023. I think that's great. And I'm expecting big things from them in the next bull run, with or without this activity. This activity is just sprinkles on top of the cake. But they're doing a great job so far. I'm very, very satisfied with that. Let's go here and see if we can end off with a little bit of gold news. So this is a little bit of gold news. It's from businesslive.co.za. All right. It's titled Gold Rises as Traders Await U.S. Inflation Data. Gotta love that gold. I love gold. It says gold prices rose on Tuesday after falling more than 1% in the previous session, as the dollar eased while investors awaited this week's U.S. inflation data that could influence the Federal Reserve's monetary policy trajectory. Spot gold was up 0.4% at $1,997.69 an ounce at 3:04 GMT. U.S. gold futures rose 0.4% to $2,012.30. The dollar index was 0.1% lower, making bullion cheaper for overseas buyers. Traders are focusing on the U.S. consumer price data due on Wednesday for more clarity on the path of rates heading into the Fed's May policy meeting. Quote, a hotter than expected print may suggest that the Fed could still hike rates once more in May. Gold's rally higher has been somewhat excessive. That statement there, in my humble opinion, I have to disagree a little bit with that. I mean, people have been retreating to gold because of a lot of different, very harsh scenarios that have played out. In the future, if the economies continue to do terribly, and they haven't been doing great, in my humble opinion, you can see gold go a little higher. Go significantly higher, honestly. So let's continue on here. We can agree to disagree. It says chances of another Fed hike could kind of bring the overshoot down. OCBC FX strategist Christopher Wong said a U.S. employment report released on Friday pointed to a tight labor market and raised bets of an interest rate hike by the U.S. central bank next month. Markets are pricing in a 71% chance of a 25 basis point hike, according to the CME Fed Watch tool. The opportunity cost of holding the non-yielding bullion rises when interest rates are increased to bring down inflation. All right, so there you have it. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, let's get to the money.